Good damp morning to you. So the night before last, my tent got wet in the fog. And then yesterday evening, finally all the clouds had disappeared. No more ground fog coming in with the marine air. So I thought, this is finally a great night to cowboy camp. But I need to dry out my tent. So I went ahead and set up my tent and slept in it anyway. And it's a good thing I did, because oh my goodness, I don't think I've ever seen such a heavy dew from clear skies in the desert. I've hiked down here in Southern California 3 different years. Never seen it this wet. Everything is wet. My tent was absolutely dripping. All the bushes are wet this morning. The ground is visibly wet in many places just from the dew. It's pretty spectacular. But I guess that's just a ongoing part of the water everywhere story this year in 2024. So you take the good with the bad. And dew is not that bad. It will be easy to dry out eventually. Guess I'm just gonna keep sleeping in my tent until finally one night I wake up and it's dry. Yeah. We got one more full day to hike, and then a part of a day into Hiker Town, and then we'll put together a plan for the aqueduct across the Mojave Desert. It may not be that hot, so we might not have to do extreme measures, but we'll find out. We've been doing the poodle dog bush limbo this morning. There's a lot of it in this burn zone, but trail maintainers have cleared it out pretty well right here. You can see the line of where the fire burned and then it stopped. So all of this is burned sometime in the last few years, and it stopped right there. And in fact, I don't know if it shows up in the video, but there's a strip of dead vegetation right along the edge that has most of its little branches and twigs still intact because the fire was dying down and was not as hot there, didn't consume all of that material. Still killed the trees, the bushes there, but didn't actually burn them up. And then the fire died down so much to the point that it stopped actually killing the vegetation. That's really cool to see. This is a really pretty walk along the ridge through oak and occasional pine forest. And it's very green. There's tons of miner's lettuce, which is edible, and other stuff all in on the ground under the trees. Almost looks like the Pacific Northwest right here, but these little places are quite short-lived. We're gonna bust back out here into the sunshine in just a moment. Miles an hour would walk 500 more to be the man who walks 1,000 miles to follow that. So we have hiked 500 miles in a burn zone with poodle dog bush and now on a dirt road, but that's okay. Our circumstances and our scenery will not steal this accomplishment from us. Woohoo! Woohoo! How do you feel, fugitive?
I feel incredible. I have walked 500 miles and I will walk 500 more.
That's where everyone's getting water right now. Actually, it looks really good. There's the dreaded aqueduct walk. It goes right across that valley, kind of angling from left to right. Up into the windmills on the right-hand side. It's gonna be hot. The miner's lettuce under the oaks, when it starts dying off, it turns kind of a pale yellow and red color, and then you still have the green where it's still fresh. And it's just, yeah, a lot of colors under here. It's very cool.
I don't know. Well, when I sent home with you guys when we visited, it was that white soda.
So I'm camped about 10 miles out or south of Hikertown tonight, and there are a lot of other people here as well. There's got to be at least 20 hikers all scattered around with their tents. I just recorded a pan around part of the campground. That wasn't even all of them. Other folks are hidden off in little alcoves or behind bushes. But yeah, there's a lot of people here, and everybody is plotting how they're going to handle the aqueduct hike across the Mojave Desert. I think most people are leaning towards probably starting out and doing some night hiking and then sleeping for 4 or 5 hours in the wee small hours of the morning, and then getting up really early and finishing the haul to the Cottonwood Creek Bridge before it gets stupid hot again. It's hard to tell exactly how hot it is going to be. I know the forecast for Lancaster, which is kind of in the same terrain but a little farther east, is 88 degrees tomorrow and 90 for Wednesday, which is not as bad as it could be, but it's going to be pretty darn bad. Up here in the hills today, it was, the air temperature in the shade was 68 degrees. I measured it with my digital thermometer. But man, when you're in the sun, going up a hill, I mean, it's just drenched with sweat. The sun is so strong. The sun makes everything feel like it's 90 degrees. So, you know, when the air is actually 90 degrees and then you still have the sun pouring on top of that, yeah, it's going to be brutal. So I think probably late evening and early morning hiking is definitely going to be warranted. Although, sorry, it's getting late, time for bed. Although there's so many people stacked up here and so many people who will probably be doing this exact same thing starting tomorrow night, it's not going to be enough for all of us, or not enough room for all of us to hang out under the bridge to wait out the heat of the day there if necessary. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. Yeah, but I am going to go to bed a little earlier than I have been and get some nice sleep, which will be great. So good night.